Okay, we're going to talk about another fighter survivor knife. This one is a little bit smaller than the big boy that I showed earlier in another video. Alright, what do we got here? We got about a 6.5 inch blade, and our handle is about a 4.5, or about a 4 inch, around 4 inch handle, which means it barely fits my hand. Now, how do we know that? We always want to measure our hand this way. Somebody asked me, hey man, I need a knife. Well, how big's your hand? Measure across this way, 4 inch. So if you look at this, that leaves a little bit, it barely fits. It does fit, but it's barely. The only thing it don't fit is when I wrap my hands, my fingers touch my hands, which they should not. Okay, so this knife is probably not made for me. I want it to be where I can rotate my fingers like this, and it cut without my hand slipping over the back and without my fingers touching here. Let's see. All right, just like a lot of my fighter survivor knives, all my knives have this deep well right here in the handle. Why? So that if I stab, my fingers don't slide up on the blade. Very important. And it gives a nice balance. The next thing I like to do is add this piece here. Now, I know that stops you from being able to work a lot with it this way to skin, but you still can. But it keeps your thumb from sliding up, and it gives you a full guard without giving you a guard. So also I like for the first portion here to be a flat, sharp, square spine, and I like for the end to be rounded. Why? Because the end rounded will make it stab better. This I can use for a ferris rod, to strike a ferris rod. This knife has kind of a belly to it, kind of a buoy look to it, kind of a smaller buoy. The handle is made out of oak wood, reclaimed oak wood. This is made out of, these pins are made out of a grounding rod off the side of a power pole, an old power pole that they were throwing away. I got the rods off of it. They're brass. Or I'm sorry, they're copper. They're not brass. Copper. This is an old tube. I just took and made an old tube, took an old tube, cut it out, put it in there. So I made that. This is my little new insignia here. It should have a W. There's a W right there. Now the knife itself, the metal from the knife itself, is made from an old plow disc or harrow disc. And that's the disc that you see pulled behind a tractor to harrow up a field, to plow up a field, to get ready for planting. It's probably a 1095 steel. It's tempered to a straw color, and it is razor sharp. As always, we'll show you. It just eats the hair off like that. Woo. Anyway, it's a nice little fighter. The handle is wider and narrow, and it's made for someone with a little bit smaller hand than mine, but it will do the job. I can use it quite easily. It feels dangerous. Some knives just feel dangerous. Now you can tell that it's custom made because there's a lot of imperfections, and I leave the little imperfections in there because I hand make this thing from A to Z. And I do use a belt grinder, a 2x72 belt grinder. But all this I leave. These are hammer marks left in it from where it was hammered, forged out. And then when I quench it in the oil, this is what is left on the blade, the oil quench. I'll polish it a little bit and just kind of leave it. I like to leave it kind of rugged, you know. It just feels better that way. As you can see here, it's where the harrow disc was kind of rusty, and so see the pieces down. Same here. It's where it just had some imperfections, but it's a full tang will go my lifetime and maybe someone else's. And it's not made to pry. You probably could still stab it in the dirt and climb a mountain with it if you need to, but it's not made for that. It's made to be light, quick, and cut. I mean, it's just light and quick. And it also survivor. Of course, when I say survivor, you could baton some wood with it. You could put it in here and hammer here, and it would go through. And you could also use a Ferris rod. You could break bone by turning it over and hitting it in the back. I mean, but if something attacked you, man, I would not want to come up against this little blade. When I say little, it's not that little. It's as big as a cold steel SRK. Let's see, I might have one of those around just to show you the difference. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's a cold steel SRK up against it to show you. I would like for this handle to have turned out a little bit longer, really. But it just didn't. Some knives, they just don't turn out as long as they should. But if you have a smaller hand, this is going to work really, really well for you. Anyway. All right. Hope you guys are having a great day, great week, and a great year. Go out and make yourself, your space, your family, and your fellow warrior better.